Gogue, what did you think of last night's fight action or lack thereof?
Man, it takes two to tango. Crawford's going to do his thing. He's going to box intelligently. He's going to counter effectively, intelligently, use his footwork, to maneuver around you, not stay in one place, not trying to get in a firefight for the guy strong, physically strong, and who could punch like Madrimov. So he fought the right tactic. Okay, these motherfuckers, man. They want these guys to just go out there and slug toe to toe, which is good. People want to see that. But from a coach's perspective, I would want my fighter to fight like what's his name did last night, Crawford. Intelligent boxing starts with your footwork. It starts with that jab. That's going to set the tone of the fight. That's going to set up his counter punching. That's going to set up his other aspects to his offense. And this guy was strong. They didn't want to take no chances with him. They're just moving up in weight, so they played it smart. You know what I mean? They were conservative in their offensive attack. You know what I mean? They didn't open it up. Later on, the second half of the fight, he started, applying that pressure. Only one time during the fight, he fought inside. He stayed on the outside just to, maintain that safe distance and everything. But, he got hit by right hands by this Madrimov. I think in the 8th, 9th round, he started getting hit a lot by them right hands. But it's not like what everybody said. Oh my God, he got hit. Hey man, it's boxing. You're gonna get hit. You know what I mean? The guy countered Crawford's jab. Every time Crawford jabbed, he timed it and threw that right hand. Because like I said, when you open up, you leave yourself open for a counter. So Madrimov timed him beautifully and with them right hands. But you know what? You look at the fight, the motherfucker didn't do nothing. Rounds 1, 2, 3, rounds 1 through 7, I had it all for Crawford because this guy wasn't putting he didn't throw one combination during that span. He was just throwing one punch at a time. You can't beat Crawford. One of the, to me, skill-wise, the best pound for pound fighter in the world. You can't beat him throwing one punch at a time. You know what I mean? You got to put your combinations together. And, Eddie complaining and this and that. Oh, his fighter got robbed. Or a lot of these guys were saying it was a draw or the scoring was ridiculous. I was watching the fight here in Mexico because, we get it for free. And the judges, the commentators had Crawford winning 10 out of the 12 rounds. And, first time I ever agreed with them Mexican judges because I was watching the fight. I'm like, man, he ain't doing shit. He's doing one punch at a time. Crawford is winning, winning the rounds, not by a lot, but he's winning. Better jab, better counter punching, intelligent boxing, ring generalship. Yeah, that's what I was counting. And that motherfucker wasn't landing no punches, not until the 8th or 9th round he started landing. But hey, man, you know what? I can't believe it was that close. I'm like, God damn, good thing. Like I said, man, what I see and how I interpret the fights going is not what the judges see because I'm not there. So Crawford, he had to pick it up. He had to pick it up the last 2 rounds, which he did to win the fight. You know what I mean? Because that fight was even. And if he would have lost any of them rounds, he would have lost the fight. I couldn't believe that, man. Yeah, scoring a fight is very subjective and everything. It's very, very subjective. And I'm just going for my eyes, because I'm watching a TV. I'm not watching it ringside or but like the judges. I can't, they see it, at a different perspective from what I see it. But from my trained eyes, man, I'm like, man, nah. I thought Crawford had control of the fight. His jab, of course, like I said, footwork, counter punching, the speed. It was hard for Madrimov to deal with and everything. And he was, and once he started getting hit with that jab, the counters, he was being tentative. He didn't want to put those combinations together because he didn't want to get caught. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's I can't believe how close that scoring was, man. But like I said, I was telling my guys, if you get a chance to knock that guy out, you don't fuck leaving it up to the judges. Beat the shit out of your opponent, man. I mean, you got to really beat the shit out of them because you don't know how they're scoring the fight. You know what I mean?
Yep. That is true. That is very true, guys. And the scorecards read Benoit Roussel scored it 115-113 for Crawford. Fernando Villarreal scored it 116-112 for Crawford. And Steve Weisfeld, only 7 rounds to 5, 115-113 for Crawford, for your winner and new WBA 154-pound champion, Terence Crawford. And look, I have to say this, Coach. And, on my Thursday night podcast, I told everyone that, look, I can't believe no one's talking about this. But after watching tape from both guys and being more familiar with Crawford and just watching Madrimov his last several fights, I'm like, this has the makings of being a snoozer. Like, why did they pick this matchup?
Because he had a title, and they won. That's how they were selling the fight. Fourth, Terence Crawford, becoming one of the all-time greats, gaining another title in another weight division. Duran, I remember Duran won his 4th title when he beat Aaron Barkley. Okay, so
oh boy, but I tell you what, last night's fight was a far cry from Duran versus Barkley.
Yeah, that was a hell of a fight.
In terms of action, that was a hell of a fight.
4-1 underdog. Duran was a 4-1 underdog, but I bet on that fight. I told everybody I thought Duran would win because of the physical, aggressive nature of Barkley, the pressure he was going to put on Duran. I thought it was tailor-made for Duran. Duran fights his best when you come right at him. Okay, his ability to roll counter, slip inside, work effectively inside. His defensive skills in the inside, ability, to roll with the punches, slip the punches on the outside, too. Duran, his ability not to get hit on the outside and everything. Yeah, Duran, yeah, like I said, here's a guy that came from lightweight, won four titles in 4 different weight classes. Hey, man, coming all the way from 35 to 68. Skills, baby. Intelligence, defense. Okay, and Duran had that. And Barkley was one dimension like this guy, but at least Barkley fought. Barkley came to knock Duran out. Barkley was physical, bombs away. Every punch that he threw had bad intentions. Okay, now this Madrigal, man, you watched the fucking fight. The guy was being hesitant. He didn't want, you know what I mean? He didn't want to go on the offense. And made it a stinker. Crawford couldn't do his thing. You know what I mean? And Crawford
that is true.
Crawford was going to get in a street fight with this guy. He was waiting for the guy to initiate the action, and he would be the one to, he'd be the one to, what do you call it? He'd be the last guy punching after all the exchanges, okay? Because of the counters. You throw, you open yourself up, counter. Crawford has great eyes, man. As soon as you throw, okay, he'll see an opening, boom, boom, boom. He'll exploit it and everything. But this guy didn't want to take that chance and open himself up. He was throwing one punch at a time. That told me he was scared to get hit by those counters of Crawford, okay? The speed, he couldn't see those sharp counters, coming back at him, once you throw. He was throwing one punch at a time, and then he was getting on the defensive. You ever see him? He'll throw one punch, he'll get on the defenses or back out because he didn't want to get countered and everything. And that, what do you call it? That didn't give Crawford an opportunity to do what one of the things he does best in counter. But anyway, it was a more sweet science fight. If you appreciate the sweet science, but if you bought that shit, you won't be happy.